I didn't get that email yet, Victoria, but
Okay, no worries. So we do have a quorum whenever we are ready to begin.
all right, I'll kick it off. So it is Tuesday, August 8th, 2023 at 6:15 p.m. And with a quorum being present, I will call to order the Master Plan Committee. Our first agenda item is a presentation of draft materials for the open house by Serped. So kick it off, Serped folks.
All right.
So camera too.
Thanks everyone for being here. We are preparing for the first kickoff open house. So this is really our big introduction to the community of the master plan and starting to get feedback to shape the big picture vision. So we really want.
Sorry to interrupt. Could you just state your name for the record?
Thank you. My name's Philip Hu, Assistant Director of Planning at Serped and Project Manager for the Freetown Master Plan. What was I saying?
Sorry.
No, it's fine. So yeah, that's the role of the open house is to just get initial feedback and also share a bunch of information, kind of like this maps and the data that we shared last time, but to the public. And we hope to have a pretty good turnout, and then that will kind of kick the public engagement process. We did go out to the Strawberry Festival. That was really, really successful. Talked with lots of people and started introducing the plan. We also have had a decent response rate to our very initial kickoff survey. Chris, do you remember how many?
45.
Yeah. So
Good survey.
No, that's the main survey we'll be rolling out soon. We had a kind of pre-survey to help give us some insight to for example, the rec question with location in town. So just get a better feel for Freetown from a resident's perspective.
We get another copy.
oh yeah, sorry. You good? Yeah, so the three main things we're going to kind of discuss today in terms of just material, and we'd love your feedback, is the kind of basic presentation. So the format is going to be a mainly an open house. So that means there's going to be boards set up around, I think, this room. We can talk about that, about venue. And people kind of go at their own pace, and we'll have a lot of staff around to just chat with people who are coming to the workshop. And then we'll have just a really short kickoff presentation at the beginning, just to orient everyone and be like, this is what we're doing here. This is what a master plan is. Because a lot of people aren't quite familiar with the open house format. So we want to be sure people know what the heck's going on. So we have a quick presentation, the boards, and then also this survey. So the survey is going to be online. And generally, this is one of the main ways we get a lot of feedback, because lots of people don't really have time to come out to go to a physical meeting. So this is a great way for them to be engaged and give their feedback without kind of needing to be somewhere on a weekday evening. So with that, I'm gonna quickly.
Can I ask a
Yeah.
question? Or you want me to hold? So how are people gonna find out about the survey online?
Yeah, so that's where we would also love your feedback. We already have kind of the Freetown the official Facebook channel. Generally trying to get it posted on the unofficial Facebook groups are great. We also hope to kind of put a lot of flyers out in the community and local businesses, also other kind of areas like bulletin boards and things like that. So it's kind of like word of mouth, but also a lot of kind of online advertising.
So we do have the Freetown Flash, right, where we can send text messages out. I don't know if we can send a link via that to something of this nature, but it's something I could look into. Also, we're actually currently trying to put rules and regulations around when it is and is not appropriate to use that. So I can't promise I'll be able to do that, but that, I think we'd get a decent turnout. We have a pretty, you know, trying to remember how many, it's over 1,000, I think, people who subscribe to it, so. Something I can look into.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, we definitely don't want to annoy people. I know text messages are a little bit,
Well, the Freetown Flash, you get free notifications, text,
I get
Yeah.
call, and email, so.
Yeah.
They definitely find me.
yeah.
But I think I like the Freetown Flash. I think that's a great idea if it's possible, Trevor.
Okay, I'll definitely look into that. I'll make a note right now.
And then also, like you said, I mean, the unofficial Facebook groups, I mean, I think there's 2 in Freetown.
Yeah,
Freetown Helping Freetown and Freetown.
Freetowners.
Information, Freetowners and Freetown Informational.
Oh, yeah,
So there's.
And uncensored now.
and uncensored too, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, my goodness.
Don't forget the uncensored.
So I mean, we could always, someone could always reach out to the, I don't know how Facebook works, but an admin who
yeah, to
controls it.
see if they can. Yeah.
yeah, so this is the quick presentation we would give. We would just do some quick introductions, explain what the master plan is, explain the format of the open house, and then next steps and how people can continue to engage. So we just do some brief introductions with the team that's going to be there. And then we just introduce who we are as a regional planning agency and the main kind of consulting partner for Freetown to do the master plan. Then kind of introduce the committee. So it'd be awesome if y'all could also try to make it to the open house. So that's what we're also going to talk about today, is try to set a date
Okay,
as
perfect.
well. And then explain what is a master plan. Master plans provide guidance for public policy and decision-making in a variety of areas. They're also an opportunity for community members to discuss the priorities of the town, reach a consensus on goals, and identify strategies to achieve those goals. So there are 7 main elements of a master plan. There's land use, which describes how we kind of use land. Housing, that's just where do people live, economic development, jobs and businesses. Open space and recreation, where do we go for parks and what can we do to improve our parks? Natural and cultural resources, and that includes things like water resources, habitats, and also historic resources. Services and facilities, that includes everything that the town kind of runs and manage, from town hall to also the schools. And then transportation circulation, all the roads and ways that people get around, including sidewalks, any bike infrastructure, trails, and bus network, and also transit. So this is the timeline. We're here now, kicking it off, doing the role we're here should be in discovery. So we kind of did the kickoff where we showed you all the data. We were presented all the maps. Did some initial promotional events such as the Strawberry Festival. In the discovery phase, that's when we have this discovery open house that we're doing, and also this big survey that we're releasing. The next step is kind of the feedback step. So we're going to go more into the details of each of the planning elements. And we're also going to do this traveling workshop because we know a lot of people don't have time to come to town hall or this police station on a weekday evening. So we hope to just meet people where they're at, whether it's a local community event, the senior center, or maybe like a PTO meeting. So just where people are already going to be, how can we catch them, just ask a few questions and promote the plan. And to kind of complement that, we'll have these topic-based deep dives. So these will be master plan committee meetings, but also they're going to be open to the public. So this is where they'll go into the really deep details about each of these elements, land use, housing, and so on. Then by next year, we'll have the final draft, and we'll kind of send it out to the community, ask them for final feedback. Did we get it right? And then it'll just be adopted by the planning board, hopefully. So the way that we're going to be engaging is doing these promotional events. Then what we're working on now is that discovery open house. Following that, the traveling workshops, just kind of the same workshop out into the community. Then these topic-based deep dives, and then the final draft review open house. So we'll change this based on the actual format. of the room, but basically, there's gonna be the sign-in and introduction area about like, what is the open, what is the master plan? Then we'll have a bunch of maps and data to help people learn more about Freetown today. Then we just have a visioning activities, which are just a series of boards that we have questions and we just want people to start thinking of answers and giving us feedback. And then we'll have a really, really big map on a big table and people will just kind of annotate it. So we brought that to the Strawberry Festival, a kind of smaller version of it, and people really loved it. They're like, oh, this is where I live, and like, this is my like idea for this sidewalk or this park or whatnot.
Do you have that, Matt? For people,
I was gonna bring it. And I was
I
like,
was just
driving midway,
curious,
and I was
yeah.
like, wait, I forgot the map.
okay.
So I apologize for that, but I can certainly take a picture of it
Okay.
and send it.
That'd be great.
And then we'll talk about the next steps, the survey and these traveling workshops, try to get people at the open house to make sure they're signing up for the updates and want to take the survey. And just introduce what these traveling workshops are. And that's the very quick presentation. And that goes into, then we'll next talk about the boards that we're going to present. Any questions, thoughts so far?
What percentage of the town in the past, in the other towns, have you gotten feedback from? Like if 75 people like participate in it, is that really giving you like a, like, what are you looking for participation with people?
I think it's not necessarily a number and it's more about the quality of feedback and who's responding. So we'll talk about the survey, but it asks questions about like basic demographics. So we want to be sure that we're getting a good cross section of the town, especially people who are harder to reach. So generally these are especially like young families, younger people, definitely much harder. We get a really, really high response rate from seniors
Wow.
usually. And we'll also have paper survey versions, so that helps in case people have technology issues. But in Plainville, I think they have a population around 9,000, 10,000-ish, and the kind of total feedback is about 700 to 800, and we consider that a pretty good.
Larger than I would think, yeah.
So that would be, we would consider that a success.
But how many people vote in town? Right? How many
Yeah,
people
if we can
election,
meet
that's what
like
you see,
on par of
it's
voting,
unbelievable
that's
how-
like really
how few
great.
People will vote.
Well, actually talking about that, there's a special town meeting. Would that be a decent spot to somehow get this
Thinking
out
the same
there?
thing?
Yeah.
Because you're right, I mean, granted, it's more of an, depending on what's on the agenda.
Right.
I mean,
Exactly.
the crowd age usually is
Yeah.
either older or usually older, but.
You can always give a flyer out though.
Right.
Everybody
Yeah.
coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I could put something on the agenda that will get, a whole cross section of people to show up, just, with the workshop.
I can think of one too.
So we'll just quickly run through the boards. Daniel, do you wanna?
Yeah,
talk about them?
Cool, yeah, so the handout you guys all have is like a initial draft of what the boards are gonna look like.
Excuse me, can you just state your name for the record, please?
Yeah, sure, I'm Daniel Kennis, I'm a urban design planner for Served.
Thank you.
So it's a draft, we are more than willing to make edits, this is hopefully close to the final thing, but if you guys have anything you wanna change or comments or concerns, like, please feel free to speak your mind and we will certainly take them into consideration. So, like the first page would just be like the cover page would rather just be like the board people see when they first walk in, like Philip said, prompting people to sign in, giving them QR code to the survey, stuff like that. I mean,
Sorry, to clarify, these are going to be like
large,
like about 30 by, no, 20, I forgot the.
like 40
Size
something.
of that TV or?
A little bit smaller kind of portrait style, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, they're like big enough that few people can gather around it.
Okay.
All of these? boards?
Yep,
Yeah.
so that's the open house
Wow.
kind of format.
And we'll have our staff and hopefully people from your staff as well, helping us out, talking to people about like the data and demographics and like the nitty gritty, helping provide some context on like what a master plan is, how their feedback's important, and stuff like that. So, yeah, the introduction slide is just, or page is just what's a master plan. I assume a lot of
Yes.
people
Sorry,
don't know.
I just want to show like an example of
Oh,
what
sure.
like, the board.
Yeah.
I hope it's just 6:30. We have. Yeah, all right, we're good.
Okay.
6:30 every day, they test
Oh.
all the towns.
Oh.
That's all they're doing.
Yeah, so you can see like this is kind of like what it would look like their board's about that big.
Okay, it's a decent size.
Would it be worthwhile to have a master plan from another town with you?
Yeah, we definitely, we like bringing examples of
Yeah.
master plans.
Cool. Yeah, so this is just like an introductory page. What's a master plan? What's the timeline look like? What are the elements? What's some past planning work that Freetown has done and benefited from / ongoing. Yeah. Base map is similar to the activity that we took to the Strawberry Festival. It's a similar base map showing like key locations, letting people like orient themselves in the community. Ideally with this one, people point out like, oh, like I live here, recognize some things, like if they see the town hall symbol, they'll be like, oh, that's where that is. That means I live X distance away, or that, like, that's my nearest fire station. Just like familiarize themselves with like a overhead view of Freetown. Some basic demographic facts at the bottom, just to like prompt thought and discussion. Go on to land use, similar thing. A lot of people are very unfamiliar with land use as a concept. Just like provides like a pretty in-depth overview of how Freetown is currently organized in terms of land use distribution. Provides context on like what is used for what, like how much open space Freetown has. There's another open space slide, but it helps people to get a general overview and like understanding of like how Freetown's like what it's made up of. So yeah. Zoning, like in a similar vein, regulates land use. So once people understand land use, they should have a better foothold from which to understand zoning. It's super introductory, basic. I'm sure you guys all know quite a lot about it as well, and help provide context to people who will surely have a lot of questions.
There may be questions on the new MBTA stuff, which we're trying to grasp.
Mhm.
So just be aware you might get.
That's
Answer
fine.
questions today.
Is there gonna be a subcommittee for that? Sorry, this isn't. Or no,
It's for planning board. We're doing
it's
that.
straight through. the-
Yeah.
Yeah, next one, housing. I already, there's a couple spots where, like, as you pointed out, it still says Plainville. Already caught those, them in the document, so those will not be there next time. Yeah, just showing what the housing distribution looks like in Freetown. People can, again, look at their communities. It can prompt some thought and discussion and help them recognize just development patterns in their community and like why they're like that. Some basic stats and numbers about home costs and income, just to again provide some context.
This is a quick question, if you don't mind. So I'm looking at the Freetown's median household, and I'm actually surprised by that number, but have you done searches around the area which is closely related to Freetown?
Bristol, so we have,
Or Bristol County?
yeah, so if you look on that same graph, it shows a line for Bristol County.
Right, but I know, in the minutes, we said, like Taunton's not similar to Freetown, but any surrounding areas like Lakeville, Berkeley, or Rochester, has any research been done in that or no?
We have different plans for them, but we can certainly like pull their median.
I was just more curious because I don't really know who's closely related to this town.
If you'd like us to like narrow our comparison to like a smaller area than just than Bristol County as a whole and like get more contextual examples, we could definitely do that. And provide like data for towns that are similar in development and size to Freetown.
The only downfall is, you go across the line, we're in Plymouth County, that's the weird part. I think we're related to a lot of Plymouth County towns, not cities, but
So just in terms of income or,
that's what caught my eye, but in just in general, I was thinking, not necessarily income. I know we talked about, I think it's probably later on here.
Well, Lakeville's in, Plymouth County, right?
Exactly.
So, I mean, that's the first one people are gonna ask about.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I guess. I'm assuming.
So I apologize, may not have been the right time to talk about that, but that's what sparked my.
No, it's like a perfectly valid point. Yeah, I think spatial context is super important. Freetown obviously is more similar to the towns around it than the county as a whole, so that's something definitely worth thinking about.
Do you think it would benefit to have that on the board, like with the comp kind of towns around, or?
I think it would. I think it would be beneficial, yes.
All right, yeah, we could put something together for that, so, no big deal.
Yeah, because we're not like similar to Fall River or Time in any way or
Right.
form, right? Berkeley's somewhat fair, Lakeville definitely. Like,
Like Rochester and Acushnet, they have different, Rochester's more open, but I mean, some areas of Rochester. I mean, but
Mhm.
around here, I mean, I'm not really sure.
Lakeville's not closest.
Swansea maybe,
Yeah.
Swansea's a little bit bigger.
Swansea has the ocean.
Well, we get the ocean too.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I can take a look around and kind of try and find some.
Yeah, okay.
You know, like Plainville, it's about the same population, but people won't relate to Plainville at all.
Right, like, there's not a lot of big water features over there, but.
I was actually shocked. I thought Plainville was much bigger than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
But the medium income for Lakeville is like very similar to us.
Oh, it is?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's most closely related.
112,000 is what I'm getting, I think.
cool. Yeah, that would definitely help to give people some more like immediate context. For transportation, it's just a map of sidewalk networks, the sort of routes and the proposed South Coast rail lines. This is probably where we'll get a lot of questions about the proposed stop. I guess like as the date approaches, we can figure out more about what exactly to say to not inflame people. Because I know that opinions about that are gonna get really
Yeah,
heated and passionate, so, yeah, I guess that's like worth discussing beforehand.
or have a deflection because I mean, we don't even have even really started on it, so
Mhm.
we're waiting for feedback from the state on it before we can go forward with anything. So
Yeah.
people are just gonna bring it up and say, oh, what about X, what about that? And you guys won't be able to answer anything.
I'm sure by the open house, we'll have something a little more, in depth, maybe that we can give.
What are you thinking about open house, October-ish?
probably like at least late September, if possible, or October is fine.
Okay,
Yeah, and I think that's like a good situation that we could probably come up with, like, instead of maybe deflecting, probably just more guided, discussion where we just had, like, one thing we talked about a lot at the Strawberry Festival, for example, was people being like, oh, we don't want this station. I'll be like, oh, well, unfortunately, like, it's happening, but that's like why this master plan is so important. Because
Yeah.
there's gonna be development occurring, and we would like that development to reflect the wants and needs of the populace of the town, and not just whatever developers and whoever is involved in that process want. So if you give us your feedback, about like what you'd like to see that surrounding area look like, what you'd like to maintain, what you'd like to remove. Yeah, just like kind of guiding it into like a more helpful and to, yeah, like constructive discussion.
Yeah, we'll be sure to have like some kind of pop-up or just even, I don't know, maybe a dedicated chunk to just at least explain like what are the requirements of 3TA and just really explain it. Oh, sorry, 3A is like, you don't have to build it, you just have to allow it,
Mhm.
which is a very important distinction. Because really the market probably won't deliver that kind of what actually would happen,
Right.
like as allowed.
Yeah, certainly not in the near future.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people hear housing and then they just think like giant apartment buildings
Right.
immediately, and so. helping to like quell fears while also explaining the reality of the situation will do a lot, I believe.
So to that point of this transportation page here, I know everyone, whenever someone sees this, they just are gonna say, we hate the MBTA, we don't want it here. And because Freetown's so spread apart, I mean, as you can see, the sidewalk networks, how do you get from point A to point B? I mean, everyone drives. I mean, it's not really a question really in Freetown, except that you live close by to South Main Street and Asona. So I'm just wondering if this is gonna hurt us more than help us, because even the connection of trying to get somewhere without driving with a master plan, I think is gonna be tough anyway. So I'm just worried people are just focused on that. They see the big T on that and think this is gonna be terrible for Freetown. So just a talking point, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be like a natural reaction for people to look at the sparse sidewalks and be like, wow, kind of wish there were more of those. So hopefully there's enough on the page that people don't only hone in on the commuter rail station, but that's probably not gonna be the case, so we'll see.
Yep, just be prepared, I think.
Yeah. Cool. Next is open space. Yeah, there's just like a few different kinds, all in assorted shades of green. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory. Just get people talking about conservation, what areas they'd like to be preserved, improved upon. Trail networks, stuff like that. Just like get good feedback about what spaces people like, what they don't like, what needs work. No. Pretty simple.
Do we need to point out any of this that is state owned? We don't have any. Thing.
I feel like that's a relevant distinction. We could definitely. Like
Differentiate or
take that,
different,
differentiate that on the map.
yeah, somehow,
Cool. Let me write that down.
A lot of it is state owned.
yeah.
Yeah, the state forest.
And I think we'll add labels, because it's not very useful right now. Like they'll especially correspond to the ones we ask about in the survey.
Mhm. Yeah, I think the labels would be helpful to have people orient where things are.
Cool. Yeah. Habitats just shows like. Habitats, like where they're protected, and need. That can't be like developed upon really, and wetlands is like similar. So that's just more for like the more environmentally minded people in town. I'm sure that's not gonna be of much interest to a large portion of the population, but it's like valuable information for the few who care. Historic preservation is like a key part of any planning process, and Freetown has a lot of history, as you guys can see, concentrated in a few specific areas. Yeah, just like more discussion based around that. The timeline goal was to give like a more slightly interactive component leading into the next page. Just to like get people, like we found that a good way to get good feedback from people is to get them talking about themselves and their families. And tell their stories, because people love to talk about themselves. So this is kind of leading them into the next page, which is asking about their families, like when they get here, what brought them here, which is all valuable information for just kind of picking up on like the general essence of the town and like why it would attract people. And then we're gonna add like a little game maybe, showing some old pictures of historic locations we can get from the Historical Society. It's like for the history buffs and quiz nerds in the community, just to like divide up the monotony of boards and like get them thinking and interacting.
Is, so I see there's big blank spaces. Is that for people to put like the sticky notes?
Yeah.
Okay, okay, just make sure.
We'll have kind of like, I mean, because these are probably a bit bigger
Mhm.
than just a sticky note, like if someone's like a little story, then might have like little index cards.
Oh,
bigger.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay, awesome, cool.
Yeah, you get like a really nice representative sample of like what brought people here, and that's something that people are probably gonna want to maintain in the future, that same essence. So pretty useful. here's just like a general data board next to cover some of the data that we couldn't cover on other slides or on other boards. Just like kind of consolidated into one. This can be subject to change depending on what you guys deem important. If you think that something here is not valuable or some other data set would be more valuable, please feel free to.
I just think the biggest in the pie chart, transportation warehousing, I mean, we have half of an Amazon. So I think that throws out of whack.
Yep, and the stop
And Stop and Shop, so I mean, that's. There's not much we can do about it, but. It's a fun fact to know that school enrollment has gone down that much
Yeah,
and.
is this, graphic below that where it compares it to Bristol County, is that another spot you think would be helpful to see, like Lakeville or something? Or community
I think the
center?
more, yeah, like we were talking about, the more closely related towns would be interesting.
So also provide a local context for school enrollment.
That would,
Yeah, I think that would be, yeah, definitely helpful for people to understand.
Sure.
In relation to towns, if they know, kind of know what they're like.
And the problem with Bristol has got Taunton and Fall River, which kind of skews the data, yeah.
right,
Are we talking about the bar chart right now?
Yes,
Yeah.
Okay, I
Yeah.
think that's a population change, not, school population.
But we could also add some
Okay, cool.
comparison. for
Yeah.
school.
Yeah, we'll add school comparison to end.
oh, I didn't mean school comparison, I just meant in general, like the graphs that show
right.
Bristol County, like, I
Yeah.
think it, like Nick was saying, it might be helpful to show like local context, similar community.
But
Because we have like Freetown, Lakeville, you know,
Yes.
the youth association, right, like, so we're very,
So together.
yeah, the schools, so I think Lakeville is probably a good one to put in there.
Right. I was just saying the school because I've never seen school data and it.
Oh,
going
yeah,
down.
it's been stuff.
Every time I watch meetings. We need more and more money because more and more kids and now I see this, I'm like, wait a second,
Like
Yeah,
10% drop there,
yeah,
at least, yeah.
yeah,
So then next we transition into like the visioning activity. Hopefully all the previous boards will have given people a lot of necessary info to come up with more comprehensive, informed answers to questions like this. But there's also asking them about their like lived and learned experience living here. Yeah, so it's like where you take people who are in town for the first time, that's kind of just asking people, or just like kind of trying to see if there's a trend in hotspots where people gravitate towards, where they don't. What are some underappreciated town assets that maybe that are like kind of slipping under the radar? Yeah, that's like kind of the goal of these questions. It's trying to establish like a real clear image of what Freetown means to people and using that to guide our thoughts in the planning process. So, yeah. So once the vision activity is done, and we decide on traveling workshop dates, that'll go on the last page, and the next steps is ideally will be a page that people can just like snap a picture of, and it'll have all the necessary information to continue their participation in the master plan process. All that on one page, and then just like a little feedback section where people can tell us what they liked and didn't like about our process. And that's that.
Any questions, comments, things we can go back to look at?
just the biggest questions I have is where are the traveling workshops? I don't even think. The only place I thought of, or sorry, location was the special town meeting, but. I can't think of anywhere how we would reach out to
Yeah,
the
so,
public.
we piloted it at, another master plan we're currently kind of starting to wrap up, which is the Plainville master plan. So we would just show up to like the library on a Saturday, morning, and we just kind of set up a table. We went to, a church and just went to its, like coffee hour afterward and just kind of did an impromptu mini presentation. There was an event at the Council on Aging, and we just kind of like just parasited onto it and just presented after they were done.
Mhm.
So we just kind of like, it's kind of saying, hey, what's going on in the community right now? even not necessarily Freetown like official events and just saying, hey, can we just come like show a little bit of things, kind of like when we did for the Strawberry Festival.
Right, and so things like Freetown, you go to the library, I'm sure you'll see 3 people there. Like, I don't think it's very busy even on the weekends, I
I don't
mean.
really want in the summer, there's no bathrooms.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no running water.
It's just- Yeah, so it's just more of, I'm having a hard time in my head trying to figure out
The
where.
Historical Society has the open house first is Labor Day weekend, right? But that's before you were gonna be doing this
Yeah.
presentation.
Yeah, so it's just, I'm more curious than anything, like, are you guys coming up with that or looking for input from us to where you might wanna go, or?
Yeah, we're always looking for input. Maria is on vacation right now, but she'll be that main kind of person coordinating a lot of those. And
Mhm.
it's not necessarily gonna be, here's our full schedule, and it might just be, here's kind of the initial.
No, absolutely, but it's just hard to think.
Are you looking to get some of this information out before the open house, or this is all after the open house? I know the traveling thing is after the open house, but. Are we looking for ideas before the open house to like get people thinking about this or give out the surveys?
Yeah,
Because we have our big charity game on September 9th, the police and fire.
That's a good one.
I mean, we don't get a ton of people, but I bet you we get, 70, maybe.
that's pretty good.
More than town meetings sometimes.
More than town meetings sometimes, so if it's nice weather, we get a lot of people, and the master plan committee can certainly set up a table at our softball.
No,
at
we
the
certainly
charity.
have all the materials ready to go.
It might not be a bad place to pass out surveys or
Well,
Mhm.
should probably try the Historical
Yeah,
Society too.
the weekend
because-
before, right?
Yeah, at the same time frame. Yeah.
Yeah, I think those are some.
You probably get
good
different
plans.
people at each one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We get a lot of families, a lot of kids come to watch the game.
that's good.
Is there anywhere we could go that would help us, like, you said, kids, help capture like the youth where like they like to go hang out in Freetown at anywhere?
The boat ramp on the side, no.
Yeah, I wanna go there.
That's not free time.
That's still free time.
No,
No, not free time people, right? That's what I was struggling with, just thinking about where, there's really. No one goes to Hathaway Park, well, baseball's ended.
Baseball's pretty much done now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking football, ironically, or it'll be in Lakeville, we'd have to go, but you could go
You
to
guys-
a Aponequid football game.
Like in September when school starts, can you send pamphlets home with kids?
Yeah, I think we'll try to coordinate with the schools. We try to do a thing with the high school for Freetown. It wasn't, sometimes these kind of traveling workshops, they are. Sometimes it's challenging to do it just because people don't quite understand and like sometimes people just don't respect you, but. I've done in the past going to schools, even just kind of teaching almost like a mini lesson about like planning and getting kids to just kind of do it, but then also sending home pamphlets is a great way.
Mhm.
St. Bernard's has their festival too in
20th of September, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Or the Harvest
The
Festival.
Harvest Festival, they have that they're a little bit more, probably open for outside things and the lakeside.
We try to get the teachers to assign the survey as homework.
Chuck does the Tetra truck too.
That's a good idea.
I'm just thinking of things that the town does that people,
It's a lot more than I
No,
was
that's
thinking
good.
about,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's really good.
Who hosts the Harvest Festival?
St. Bernard's Church in Sonnet. On South Main Street.
For a special town meeting, do you guys have information sessions that are going along with those two?
I think there's nothing that's been set yet,
Gotcha.
but typically, no,
Right
No.
now, there's no information.
never.
No, no. It depends, like, actually, I shouldn't say it, like. If there's something, very controversial, some kind of big thing, we might have a special meeting, like, or a discussion on a Board of Selectmen agenda. But nothing like a specific information session.
When's the deadline for that? September?
For the warrant?
When's that being?
Oh,
Yeah, I actually, we just did it last night.
September 1st, I
September
believe.
1st.
Yeah. Yeah, we're
Okay.
having it on October 23rd is the date, that's what we agreed upon last night, but we're having some scheduling
Meeting?
issues.
Yeah,
Okay,
Great, yeah, let's just wrap up by talking about going through the survey. The real survey looked more colorful than this. This is just kind of the printout version.
Yeah, it doesn't have a graphic, there's made it easier to print for you guys.
So Chris, you wanna talk through the survey?
So the first kind of section is general demographics. That's always good to know who your audience is and who's participating in the survey. So second page is just the extension of that. We are gonna have a section for that's more business oriented for like business owners. So you see for question 9, there's like an asterisk next to it. Depending on how the person will answer yes or no, it will take them either to the business section or not. So if it's just a resident and they're gonna say they don't want a business in town, it's just gonna skip it altogether. So I think on the next page, it goes right into the business section. Just some general questions for us. Just trying to get a feel for like what the business environment is in town. Moving on, we kind of start off our more kind of guided questions. Asking what the resident kind of perceives as the 4 strengths of Freetown. We have all of that stuff there. We're definitely open to suggestions as well. Like if you think we missed anything on there, I know there's a lot there already, but if you can think of anything, that'd be good. And you don't have to do that now. You can also kind of
Homework.
yeah. It's like how we have top 4 strengths, we have top 4 concerns. Kind of the negative side of what we were talking about in the upper section. So question 17 is actually a reflection of the questions that are going to appear on the boards at the open house. So if anyone's unable to attend, that would be a good way to get that information if you go online.
I don't know.
Generators?
I don't know.
Oh,
Something in that room like that. Sounds like a generator.
It's just quicker.
yes.
Yeah.
Sounds like the IT is having a bit of an issue in there.
Can't do good.
We smell smoke.
Yeah.
No side
Don't
lights.
call. Don't call, we'll have to quit the meeting.
Don't call.
We'll just finish the meeting and then we'll put it out after.
So moving on, question 18, just getting a better grasp of how a resident would perceive the town's kind of future. And things they would like to see. That kind of goes hand in hand with economic development priorities. What types of housing are kind of lacking in town. Some more.
So did you have stats on this, the percentage of people who own versus rent in Freetown?
Yeah, we do have that.
You do?
It's,
I don't, is
think
it
it's-
included on the boards though? I know we have the
It's
info.
not on the boards.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or it's not
I
on there?
do have it.
From that catch-all one.
It just made me think of question 18. I was looking at create more affordable housing options and things like that.
Mm.
Somebody might ask what our percentage of affordable housing is.
It's not,
Less than 1%.
Yeah.
It's not there.
we have one,
One
One area.
40 development, right?
So there are 2,614 owner occupied and 318 renter occupied.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was that many.
no,
What's that? You spoke.
Is
unless someone lives in Blood,
That was
I guess, because technically it would be, it wouldn't be a rental still. no.
Oh, it's the PCS, but it's most recent. It might have it on there,
wait, that was
There's like a, yeah, there's a lot of people who rent on the Bay Shores. I know that.
Yeah,
That'll be probably good information to have. I would put it in there even if it's on that
Yeah, we could,
catch-all page or something.
yeah, we could either get a pie chart or just a quick sentence on there. Have to make a note of that.
I don't think it's on the PCS chart for 2021.
That's fine. I can try and find another one.
So some of my concerns, I guess, I'm sorry, I've been reading 18, we kind of just stopped. there.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
definitely.
Create additional light industrial areas and job centers. I mean, most of what we have already is not vacant land, so I'm just wondering, say that is checked off, I'm not sure how we would accomplish that.
So it's kind of like, a lot of these are kind of like, things are sort of. Not saying we're just copying from previous, they're just using previous like surveys as a framework, but then.
I get it,
Yeah,
right.
if, it doesn't make sense to include it in there, then we can certainly take it out.
I think that one, it just out of all of them, stuck out to me as. Doesn't make as much sense to Freetown.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we can mix that.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
I know there's a lot of things here, so certainly. Take a look at it, after this, or even just notice something, we can definitely go back to it.
So how do we get, so I assume, so we'll obviously look at this at home, but. We can send everything to you, Victoria, because these are only suggestions
Yeah.
to them, they can choose.
Mhm.
Okay, so that's, okay, so send everything to you after the meeting and that's
Yeah,
it.
yeah, and then I'll.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's no-
I assume this will be sent out to us.
Yep, it's already in your inbox.
Okay, yeah.
Mhm.
Thank you.
But I started jumping around.
21.
Yeah, 21, some more kind of general housing questions. Are you concerned that you or someone you know will not be able to afford to live in Freetown now or in the future? Where in town do you think commercial development should be focused? For question 22, and then 23, where in town would residential development be focused?
So this is like kind of just things I've been focusing on, but just to bring them up there is like, I don't know how to phrase this, but you know, trying to figure out if there's an appetite for a town septic, town sewer. Sorry, is what I meant to say, town sewer. And then also, you know, one of the concerns I have is about, you know, we have a somewhat established town water infrastructure, right? But it's really just for a couple areas of town. You know, is that something people are concerned about? Like, you know, not be able to have a well on their property pretty much in the future state. And, you know, how will we deal with that situation?
Water throw town, what an excellent idea. Oh, man.
Yeah, we couldn't even get to the police station, Trevor.
So actually on the next page too, we talked about how people would rate, for example, water sewer. So that's something on there. There's also an additional like comment box in case.
Okay, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, a little bit more insight on that.
Yeah, I think
But to
most people
Trevor's
don't
point,
know.
to Trevor's point, I mean, I mean, the biggest reason I think South Main Street and Asona really isn't as developed or developing as quickly as other towns is because we don't have
Yeah.
water sewer.
Mhm.
So I mean, I think I agree with Trevor that that could be a main focus on maybe just one part of town, which would make sense over there because we have it across the bridge. And where does it stop on the other side of town?
What, the water, the sewer.
Sewer,
Um.
is it right on county, at the end of county?
It's gotta be.
I think so.
There's
the
not
end of
much
town.
on East Freetown that has sewer, I don't believe.
Yeah, I don't think there's.
And.
I think it's just-
you
is it
have
just water?
You have water there.
I have water, it goes from, the waterworks goes down that street, so that's why I have New Bedford water.
Hmm.
And like Mason, Summit Middleborough Road, Garden Pathway. Is,
It goes right behind, Whitney Academy, I think, right?
Yep.
That water line.
yep,
You know, if there's like, I know a lot of towns are a little like cagey about having like a water and sewer network map. I don't know if you have that like internally.
We're working on
Actually,
that.
yeah.
We have something, but.
It hasn't been updated since like 2008. or 2005, so it's right on our website,
Oh, okay.
on our GIS maps, that's public. We have like a public works layer. But yeah, we are working, I think Deb's just starting a project, we're gonna try to get, our current services where our water is now mapped, because it hasn't been.
Yeah,
mapped.
we approved that
Okay.
last night, actually, so.
Awesome, that's gonna be
yeah,
a great
so-
project.
It's still contingent on us getting a grant, but it's a 40% match, so we're gonna match that and hopefully move forward. I think that's a really important thing for us to have right now, especially with a lot of changes going on. We gotta know where things are, right?
Would it make sense if we just added a question such as responsible growth along South Main Street? I mean, because that would essentially give us the answer right there without coming right out and saying water sewer.
Yeah,
That's,
I'd be curious, and maybe this is a question that I missed, but like if we ask you, what do you think has prevented development in town? What I'm really asking is like, why have all the restaurants gone away? Like, why, like, and see what other people's, I'm very curious what people's input is on that is. I think, Nick, you and I agree, we think we know what the cause is, but, I like to open source that question.
Mhm.
So you want to phrase it that way, not phrase about, you want to make it very cagey so that they have to
Exactly.
really answer.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, we could workshops,
Yeah, just throwing ideas out there, right?
like why has small business kind of, we'll figure it out.
Or even, I mean, people driving through, like, why isn't as developed as other towns that you drive through?
Yeah,
Lakeville has a couple of main sections. Freetown has two, and they're not very big.
and they're mostly Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah.
Do you think it would be helpful to take this survey directly to small business owners?
Well, I think they'll come right out and say there's no water sewer.
Yeah.
But it certainly doesn't hurt. I mean, we've lost a few businesses on that side of town, I think, because of that. I mean, the car wash was a while ago, but I think that was just poor planning anyway. But that whole, we just knocked down, the owner knocked down next to Irving, the whole
oh, yep.
strip mall there because the tenants, I don't know if he had problems with non-payment, but how many tenants were over there? Does anyone
I have
know
no.
where Winwall
Half
used
a
to be?
dozen of them.
Like
That's so
six
six
at least,
tenants
though.
gone. Yeah. At least.
Would it make sense to have a question just for the business owners related to that then? Or do you think that would be good to include?
I think the problem might be some of them, I'm trying to think, some of them are renting over the buildings. The majority, I guess, own it over there now, but. I guess it wouldn't hurt.
Yeah, you have a section for business owners. It might be
Yeah.
worthwhile. to put
Yeah.
something.
Yeah,
We do have a mention for question 13, please rate the following aspects of doing business in town. And we have a section for tenant construction.
You get 4 every single time, I think. But I think
That's good
it,
information.
yeah, it'll be nice, I think, to put 1 for business owners and 2, maybe, respond with a question somewhere, would you like to see responsible development? South Main Street or something like that.
Yeah, great.
'Cause, yeah, I would love another breakfast place in town, restaurant. I mean, we have a couple, but
yeah,
limited.
yeah, sure.
Problem is
Could
that's
ask
the past
data.
restaurant owners, they're gone.
Yeah, you're
You know
right.
what I mean, why did they leave? Well. They're gone, so, and asking the ones that are here, you're gonna. It's sewer, we all know what the.
They're
reason
fairly
is.
new too. So you ask them like,
Yeah.
oh, business is great now, but there's
Right,
no longevity to them.
right.
Philip, you were gonna say something?
Oh, I guess in a way, sometimes the way we frame that is like ask people like what services or like retail or amenities that are missing in town. And they kind of realize that it's like, oh, that's why.
I'd
Like, a lot
love to
of
see
times,
this
like,
and this. Well, why don't we have that?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
That's a good,
Yep.
that's a good one.
That makes sense.
Sorry, jumping back.
21, I think, 22.
No,
Yeah, I
we're
think-
on 24.
24.
Yeah, I think we just started touching on 24, town services and facilities, how would you rate?
Oh, fire.
So then we have, question 25, please describe any, roadways, intersections that need improvement. 26, what roadways should have new sidewalks and or bike infrastructure. 27, if you serve that, how could it be improved? Where would you want to see the bus route go? What stop should be improved?
Do we have veteran services in Freetown?
We have a veterans agent.
Yeah, we do.
Should we rephrase that or veteran service? Fine.
I mean, no, I think that should
I think
be,
it's fine.
yeah,
I'm just more curious.
yeah. For question, 25.
Yeah.
When we did the complete streets prioritization plan, we had like an interactive map and a lot of people commented on that. I'm not sure if that would be helpful to send over. Because we did get feedback from that.
Oh, definitely.
So I mean, that would help give an idea, you know, where people think we need improvement.
What was that for?
Complete streets, so it was part of a grant project to create prioritization plan, which basically has project areas of roadways that can be improved. So like, for example, the Four Corners is on there. Where can we add sidewalks, missing sidewalk connection, approving like ADA ramps, things like that.
That was through the circle.
No,
It
we
wasn't.
did that. That was a complete streets through the state.
Okay.
And then we had environmental partners did that one.
But we have a grant for Four Corners right now, right?
Not a grant, so
I
we
mean,
got money from
we got
town
money
meeting.
from town, yes.
Correct, yep, so they're working on the engineering study for the Four Corners.
These guys are.
No, that's EP, Environmental
EP 's
Partners.
the
Mhm. Serpent did the technical memo, but they don't have the capacity to do the engineering that was
Yeah.
needed.
Yeah, so for question 25, we can see about including an interactive map or just pull information from it to make
Yeah,
like a
like
list of those locations and do like check all that.
Yeah, we got pretty good feedback from the interactive map. I mean, I thought it was pretty good. It's probably like 50. Some comments didn't really relate, but people still gave their opinion, so,
Nice.
yeah.
So we do have an interactive map already live.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'll temporarily show that. And what we try to do is also like take the feedback from the physical maps and put it on.
Mhm.
You'll notice that there's like a few that don't really have comments. Yeah, because it was just, there wasn't really a comment, they just kind of put the sticker there.
Oh,
Yeah, so it just means they kind of want to see, you know, like walking and biking improvements there.
That was a roundabout that was already improved.
Yeah, that one was improved.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, there are a lot of.
Yeah,
just
we just-
general for the maps.
We don't have any sidewalks or bike paths anywhere, real. I mean, our sidewalks are so limited. And like, I do bike on some of the sidewalks and they're not easy to bike on. Even if you were gonna like, you know,
Mhm.
Yeah, but just wanted to share that.
Well, we have the one on Mason Road, but it just ends.
yeah. Problem is, we don't have
The
like,
best
a-
we have, the
Yeah,
new
sorry, go
developments, the new subdivisions are the best ones, you know, like Holly Ridge, that's,
Mhm.
you have to get there.
Mhm.
You were gonna say Nick Road, weren't you?
Nope. Nope. That's a good one, though, yeah.
So moving on, question 28, from the list of recreational facilities and open space, which of these need to be improved? I already marked down bandstand for town green.
Mhm.
But if you see any that catch your eye or any that maybe miss, definitely let us know.
Do we call it the Freetown Central Park Babe Ruth, or do we call it something else? Memorial
Usually just Central Park.
Just Central Park.
Central Park? Okay.
Little Fenway.
Yeah, Little Fenway.
Water pasture.
Now, I know I've been here my whole life, but where is Porter Pasture?
So that's, you know where my old house was, Nick?
Oh. No, I didn't know that. I'll be honest.
Well, I know exactly where it is. It's a cause of a lot of headaches because people dump trash down there.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
really?
that's a lot. Well,
Is it at the very end there?
Yeah.
Almost
yeah.
all the way to the end.
So we put. up
There's like a
gate.
dirt road. Yeah.
Yeah, and then now people are
It's right up.
complaining that there's a gate.
Yeah,
That was up
can't,
there.
can't win.
It is off Francine, yeah.
Oh, I didn't see the, wow, I lived over there.
Yeah, you grew up like very close to there.
I know. I've never been there.
I used to go there all the time.
And Millbrooks is the one over,
How-
oh, Howland. I was thinking of one, 'cause conservation, I know just bought more land over on that
near-
side.
Near
There's
County Road.
Yeah, there's paths over there. Access from Keene Road. Isn't there paths over there through conservation?
I don't think we have actual paths, but that's the Betsy Tabor Wildlife
Yes,
Sanctuary.
that one.
Yeah, but there's no
There's no
actual
paths through there?
trail.
I thought there was.
No, there's no trails, not that are maintained. Maybe there used to be.
Oh, okay.
We
There's
heard a
no-
lot of feedback about, at the Strawberry Festival about trail maintenance and signage.
Yeah.
meaning, Like
Uh-huh.
a lot of improvement.
I think it's
Yeah,
like
me
a
too.
lot of it in the state forest,
Which we can't,
Yeah.
yeah.
Which we can't do anything about.
People don't realize that we can't really dictate what they do over there, I know. But,
It's funny,
for the
cause
Millbrook.
that's like free, sorry,
Oh, no,
like,
it's okay.
so I mountain bike a lot. And like everybody knows about Freetown in the mountain biking world because of the state forest, right? It's like, it really could be one of our biggest draws, but everyone complains about it because the dirt bikers go in there and it's tough to have dirt bikes and mountain bikes in the same trails. But at the same time, like it's also huge in the dirt biking community. People come from all over to mount dirt biking there. So I don't know. I feel like people blame me that I find out I'm from Freetown and the selectmen like, well, why don't we take care of the trails in there? Like, I can't do anything about that, unfortunately.
Yeah,
Well, that raises a good point. Should we include Freetown Fall River State Forest in there since?
I think it's still some, a lot of times, even if it's not a jurisdiction, it's still important to like.
It's
note
definitely a
that
draw
this
to
is
our
something we
community.
should
yeah,
Work with the
100%.
state.
yeah, that's
Well, I
true.
don't think we own Millbrook, do we?
We do not, so that's also state owned, and I just wanted to point out about that they are going through a restoration project for that, DCR. So that actually is going to be improved, they're going to put a trail there, and there's also a resident that was interested in donating a bench for it once it's finished. So that's gonna be really nice once it's done, but I just want to point that out, that it is already have planned improvements.
Are they gonna make a larger parking area, do you know?
I'm not sure, they haven't got that far in the process, they just assigned a new project manager to it, so they haven't even like started, but I can ask about it,
Who's the splash pad run by?
State, right?
I have no clue.
It
but-
is, it's in the state forest, but you have the
Oh,
splash
then
pad
yeah.
at the entrance of the state
Then
forest.
that's the state forest, yeah, that's in there.
That used to be an awesome. When that first.
I thought they
put
just
in there-
redid it, didn't they?
My kids are older now, but when they first put that in there, my kids were young, that was awesome. That was such a nice place to go.
So kind of moving on, question 29, what recreational amenities would you like to see more of? So we definitely had trails in there. Bike paths, playgrounds, sport facilities, picnic areas, dog parks and the like.
What's the status with KR baseball, softball? What is it now? I don't dare go up there.
I don't know. The last time we went in there was a mess. So I don't know. I don't.
Who
That's-
owns
that's-
it or who runs it?
oof. Well, we did something with the driveway there, so do we own that now?
I'm pretty sure, I thought we owned
The
that.
driveway, you're talking about when the road went
When the
through?
road went through.
Isn't it the club has to take, or usually take care of it, Trevor?
Yeah,
The,
we have like we have
association.
lease agreements.
Mhm.
Yeah.
With the
I think
soccer-
we own it
soccer?
though,
They don't-
but we
They
lease it out and
Yeah, I
they're
think we
doing
own
maintenance.
Oh, soccer over there, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's been so
What
long.
is this?
When was the last time
Hey,
that building was
the-
open?
Ball fields,
Oh, okay.
The snack bar
I don't
over
know.
there. Haven't been over there, but how's that look now?
It was all graffitied up. And then I think it was
That's all
recently
pretty run down.
Isn't
been
it?
cleaned.
I remember when they built that, that was right before they combined East Freetown and so on.
I think once Central Park kind of got up and running, that and Long Pond. Those
Yeah.
fields kind of went away. That's
Pickleball
something
courts? Put it
There we
over
go. I like that. Pickleball's
I
hot
think
right
if you
now.
wanna bring people in and do
Yeah.
something nice, you have a beautiful spot at the town beach, like. I don't, my daughter works at Claire Pond in Lakeville,
Mhm.
and that's just a beach area, and it brings tons of people.
Yeah, it gets
It's
packed
a,
over
it's a
there.
beautiful, they
It's
have a
beautiful,
snack
yeah.
shack, they have, and you
Mhm.
have the room where we are there, that is a. That, if you wanna bring people and you wanna do something nice for the town, there's a spot there that you could really,
Back in the day, they had lifeguards
Yeah,
there.
lifeguard,
People
yeah, I
actually
know.
went.
yeah, it's that, and you have the spot there that you could. Do something, I hope people, look at that when they, do this.
We stopped by there to take pictures, for the master plan, and it was like, honestly, kind of cute.
It's
Yeah,
nice.
it
There's
had
been some
different-
trouble there in the past, but,
Yeah.
yeah,
There was absolutely no one there on like a beautiful summer day. So,
there's not many people.
Yeah, we were there early, like not super early, there was probably like 10:30 and we were the only ones in the parking lot.
But it's not even a porta john over there, right?
I
Yeah,
think so.
that's another.
Kind of moving on, question 30, what can be done to improve accessibility to town parks for individuals with disabilities and seniors? Let's see. Question 31, how important is it for you to protect the following in Freetown? There's a lot of like open space, recreation, natural and historic or cultural resources and the like. And we kind of have a section, what specific natural areas in Freetown not already mentioned are important to protect and keep as open space. And then we have a similar question following that, talking about historical or culturally significant buildings or areas. And then we have an additional comments box for question 34. Question 35. Just trying to get a general understanding of how informed the person filling the survey out is. And then kind of seeing how they gather their information about the town. And also good for us is learning how they heard about the survey. We can then kind of quantify if it was more so like word of mouth or if it was flyers or different advertisements online.
Any
Then,
good feedback from Plainville from that? To Feed into this.
I don't know, did you guys have a similar question in Plainville?
In terms of the feedback and stuff,
I'd hear about the survey.
Yeah. Or did we add that for this?
we did have that, I don't remember.
it was a lot of, word of mouth and town events.
Mm.
People-
Oh, okay,
Yeah, and, I think there's some Facebook page.
yeah.
Okay.
We have a lot of the NPC members are very active and they like to kind of post things and stuff. And they
Mhm.
know people in the like unofficial Facebook group. So I think that's how a survey really got like
Oh, good.
off the ground.
Okay.
And then. Topping out, what other ways would you prefer to participate in or learn about the master plan process? And then finally, contact information if they're willing to. Get like future updates on. So yeah, definitely feel free to go through this. I'm open to any feedback with that and definitely let Victoria know, like, if you see anything that you may want to add or take out.
And where would you like us to do that by?
Good question. I think,
Let's say,
Today's what, the 8th?
yeah,
let's say like the end of the week, next week.
yeah, Phil, did we figure out a date yet? We were gonna roll out this survey.
Well, once everyone's happy with it, we can start rolling it out.
Gotcha.
Like, make a big effort to kind of promote it, because that's how we're also gonna promote the open house.
Right, yeah, that makes sense.
One, just,
So you're saying the 18th of,
is that the 8th?
18th of August is next Friday?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Just one thing on this last page.
Yep.
Either I just write big or I have a longer email address. I never am able to fit inside that box. Can we just make those a
Yeah,
little
we can
bit
make the-
larger? Sorry.
Yeah, I'll check it out. Yeah, there's like a character limit, one preset, so, the size, I think we could expand.
Okay.
So yeah, that was everything that we planned on just sharing, we, you know, really value their feedback, and then, it would be great to kind of set some idea for when to do the open house.
So. Are you thinking you guys wanna do it here, or you think a bigger, so that's a lot of boards, I don't know if the bigger space.
Yeah,
The
what's a bigger
Lakeville Eagles
space?
is really nice.
Just in Lakeville.
It is in Lakeville, but I mean, we've had other Freetown stuff
VFW.
in Lakeville.
VFW, I mean,
You don't think this room would be big enough to put some of these tables?
Is there a place to put these tables, or?
I think they stick them in the closet, but I don't know if they all fit.
they don't look like they. fold.
We could push them like to the ends of, around the room, right?
Yeah,
And
and
then-
then you can put the boards like on the tables, so.
If you think
that
it'll be enough
works.
space, I mean, with people, I mean, hoping we have a good turnout, I don't know.
Yeah, well, I don't know, it's like the legal limit for this. room.
It needs to be posted somewhere.
Oh, it's gotta be at least 100 people.
In this room?
Is there a firefighter there we could ask?
No, I don't know, I know. I'll look for one.
No, we should host it here because we put a ton of money into the building.
Yep,
It's true.
that's accurate.
And it's just nice, really is nice. It's a nice space to be in.
Got air conditioning.
Well, if we
You don't
wanna
have
Yeah,
set,
we also have
100
a
people
hallway.
out there.
yeah, that's true too,
Yeah,
so you could catch people coming in before they come.
yeah,
to
so
the
we put the
room.
sign
No,
over there,
no,
so it's
no.
not like.
That's
everybody-
true.
No, they will, I mean, luckily.
So if you think this
it's
big,
parked up.
big enough, no.
So,
Did you want us to
Right,
set a
yeah.
tentative date now, or I have access to the police station calendar, so I can see if it's
yeah,
available? Okay, so let me pull
so
that.
something like. Late September, well, late September,
Do you think that you want to promote some of this stuff at the Historical Society or the softball game?
yes, those,
Labor Day is a
And
third
that's-
this year.
That's fastly
Yeah.
approaching, so. We'd be more than happy to set up a table for you guys at the softball game.
Every day is Monday, right?
The fourth.
The fourth, yeah.
when was the police fire?
The
charity
police
game?
fire game is on September 9th.
September 9th. Okay,
I said at 5.
do you remember when the historic society?
I don't
I can
know.
look
I
it
thought
up.
it's usually the first, I thought it was Labor Day usually. Or is it the following weekend? Would they conflict with you guys?
It's never the weekend that we always do the weekend after Labor Day, so maybe we do it the
So
weekend after Labor
theirs
Day
is
because of
September
that.
10th.
Oh, it's a Sunday right after,
That's the
That's when you're
the
doing
weekend.
yours.
the 9th.
Oh,
Oh, and they're doing the 10th.
the game's the 9th and historic is the 10th.
Okay.
And then the other one that was mentioned, is the Harvest Festival.
That's usually.
Well, if you come the 9th, you can stay in one of our hotels in Freetown, so.
September, oh, it says September 30th, 2012.
Maybe they haven't.
The
posted
harvest is
the date
usually
yet.
the 16th or 17th, somewhere the following weekend, one of those two.
So those would be good places to just promote the plan, start, I think that's a good time to have the survey already ready to go, and that's very doable.
Yeah, for sure.
So for the open house, we're looking at, you said mid to late September?
Yeah, if the Harvest Festival is like 16th, 17th, maybe like the week, 1 week or 2 weeks after that.
Okay, so October? The Harvest Festival is October, right?
No, September.
Oh, it is September? Okay, so all of those are in September, okay.
So maybe something the week of the 25th.
Okay, the police station's pretty open, there's nothing
Okay.
scheduled that week, actually.
So we should avoid Mondays and Thursdays for football on television. I'm joking, but seriously, it will impact.
Maybe the 27th? Wednesday? I don't know what works best for people in general.
So are we saying?
September
October? Sorry.
23rd and 24th is the harvest
So,
festival.
yeah.
Yeah.
My wife's due date is September 17th, so I might not be able to make it to that one, but.
Congrats.
Don't, thank you. So don't let me get in the way of that, though.
I don't know what this guy's priorities are. ridiculous.
Yeah,
Just kidding. Chris.
So what do you need, just a week after, you're good?
yeah, a couple days.
And-
Say
17th,
27th or.
Yeah, 24th, you should be fine.
Yeah.
So are we looking at October then? Is that after the Harvest Festival? Is that what you were just saying? I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I was just, I thought the Harvest Festival was in October.
It'd
I
be
was
fresh
just
in
a-
people's minds if you tell them the 23rd and 24th, you tell them it's on the 27th. I don't know. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter to
it's
me.
both about promoting the plan itself, but like, if someone's like.
Do you
"Hey,
need
you're-"
time
Yeah,
in
yeah.
between there is what I was asking.
No, not really, because
Okay.
we're already going to like advertise.
Right,
like,
okay.
And these are kind of just supplementary, like promotional
Okay.
events.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, they're open, the position's open that whole last week of September right now, so I can, I mean,
I guess
it's,
we'll just do the 27th, a Wednesday, who knows?
Okay.
And if like we need to change it, that's totally fine.
okay, but.
I would say once we release the survey, like we should definitely have the final date, like. End of this month,
Okay, that sounds good.
so then we can ask the rest of the NPC. What works best for them.
Okay,
What like time would you like?
It would be like
6,
6 to 8, I think.
okay.
You
that
think a
sounds-
weekday works better than a weekend?
We could explore the possibility of a weekend.
Personally, I
And-
think a week, I think the people that you're gonna get to cover a week is probably a better. I think kids on the weekends already of September have soccer and
Yeah,
Yeah,
personally, I think. Midweek is probably better. I don't know.
I agree with midweek.
And we can, if you feel like online engagement is a lot better for Freetown, we can also try to do kind of like we can just do like a very similar presentation that we did at the first MPC meeting and then just do a general Q&A and just tell people, here's how you can leave feedback, like go to the survey, go to this. So it's not quite the open house experience, but at least people get an idea, like this is what the master plan is.
so a Zoom meeting.
Yeah,
have you done like sometimes our town clerk does these like informational videos and she posts those on Facebook.
yeah, we can,
Have you
instead
done
of,
something
yeah,
like,
we've done.
just
informational
like in
videos
case
too.
people don't wanna sit on a
Yeah.
Zoom or if they have time to watch a 5-minute little video, and maybe the link to the survey, just a thought.
Great.
I think that's a great idea. Yeah, people's attention spans are short, you gotta.
Yeah, we try to keep our videos to like under 3 minutes.
Yeah, short to the
perfect.
point, maybe something that I'll just at least get them to do the survey
Yes.
and participate that way.
Well, if you do a Zoom, you can record it and post that too, and they can just skip through
Yep.
timestamps or something.
I think
Sure.
if I see like a video that's longer than like 5
You're
minutes,
not
I'm
gonna
not gonna
click
click
on
on
it.
it.
Yeah.
Just
Oh, that's
skip it.
Yeah, it's a TikTok generation, yeah.
All right, anything else anyone wanted to chat about, discuss? Otherwise, we look forward to your feedback, kind of by
By the
Friday.
18th, yeah.
All right.
Are you gonna let
Good.
Victoria know about setting up a table at the game so I can let,
Yeah,
and then we can just have a spot there for you? What else do you,
just a spot, we'll bring everything.
we can do that? Right next to the donation table.
We can leave a good donation.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
All right, so are we good here? Should we move on to agenda item 2? All right.
Yep.
So we just have
Thank you
meeting
guys
minutes.
so much.
Oh yeah, sorry, you guys probably gonna head out. Thank you very much. That's awesome. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Gary.
So has everyone read minutes? And are we good to approve
Yes.
these?
Yep,
All right, so with that, I'll entertain a motion to approve the 4/25/2023 minutes.
so moved.
All right.
With amendments, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I just wanna, that's what. I was-
Yeah. With amendment, sorry, yeah. All right, so we have a motion seconded?
Second again.
All right, all in favor?
I,
Aye.
Then
roll
roll
call.
call.
Yeah,
roll
we
call.
have to do both. Yeah, roll call.
Oh. Okay.
Do you want to do it,
Tre-
Victoria?
Yeah, fine. Trevor Matthews,
Yes.
David Crows,
Aye.
Nicholas Beloso.
yes,
Keith Mello.
Aye.
Okay, great. And then now, so our meeting date, our next meeting date, right? When should that? Is that gonna be, let me think about this. So if we all go to the open house, right, then we'll have a quorum. Do we want to have like a meeting before the open house? Or does
I
that
was
make any
thinking right-
sense?
I was thinking right after the open house. Like
Yeah.
October, but
Okay. I don't know if we need to come up with a specific date today. Should we just try
No,
to
we
kind of do what we
don't.
did last time? Or what's up?
Yeah, just kind of set a ballpark. Like I think, Chris, earlier we had mentioned like summer, late fall, right? To kind of set something up.
Yeah,
After-
probably after the open house would make sense, right? Paul?
Yeah, so it gives us enough time to process, like, here's some, so I would imagine the next MPC will say, here's the results of the open house, like general vision and big trends, and then also just first initial results from the survey.
so early
And then
October.
just talk about the next steps of like, this is what we're doing for these like traveling workshops.
Right. So we're doing the open house the end of September.
Mhm.
So how long do you think, like?
You can
end
do
of-
like 2 weeks.
2 weeks is
Yeah,
good?
so mid-October.
Okay, so we can shoot for that and narrow down a date, as we get a little closer.
Okay. And we don't need a vote on that, obviously, right now, right? So, okay, so anything else we want to talk about before we adjourn?
No, thank you. I don't have anything else.
All right, great. So with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, and then Victoria one more time.
Trevor Matthews,
Yes.
David Crows,
Aye.
Nicholas Beloso,
Yes.
Keith Mello.
Yes.
Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Have a good night. Thank you.
Good night, thanks.
You said this is our